the globe to form societies and come and represent them into each one of the fields which it holds. More than 12 members are such. So this media information literacy also had a global alliance, and it was previously global alliance. Then she is also European Commission EU member of expert group on digital literacy and disinformation. She is the head of research, studies, educational programs, department, ECMOE, Greece. Madam Irni is a media literacy researcher, policy analyst, practitioner, and advocate on mediation, media for nearly 20 years. She is now selected member of the new European expert group on tracking disinformation and promoting digital literacy through education and training, and has been serving as member of the EC Media Literacy Expert Group, also DG Connect, since 2006. She works closely with UNESCO. She works closely with UNESCO as Global Co-Secretary General of the International Steering Committee for UNESCO Media Information Literacy Alliance 1922, on a multidisciplinary approach on media digital literacy for parents, educators, children, policymakers, media stakeholders, and media professionals. Presently, Ernie is Head of Research, Studies, and Educational Program Department at ECOME, the National Center of Audiovisual Media Communication in Greece. She is the Greek editor of UNESCO Media Information Literacy Curriculum for Teachers, co-author with Art Silverblatt on media literacy, Keys to Interpreting Media Messages 2016, and the editor of the white paper ECOME on Media and Information Literacy. She is also project manager of UNESCO MIL Alliance European Subchapter Mediterranean Group, coordinated by...
I think that's enough.
As head, once I will just complete it. Hellenic Foundation for European and Foreign Policy on the Crisis Observatory. She was a member, and she is now registered to get her PhD. Thank you very much. Thank you, everyone. And
thank you so much.
Thank you, madam, for joining us and giving us information on media literacy. The governments are told that there should be no digital divide. The digital divide is based on the caste curriculum or studies or money or whatever it may be, or the position they are placed on the globe. So we are all part of it. So please continue your this thing.
Thank you so much. It's a challenging issue that we're discussing here today, and because media and information skills are the future, is a prerequisite in order to prepare all citizens, media professionals, entrepreneurs, business leaders, decision makers of tomorrow towards green and the digital transformation economy that is ahead of us. So my presentation today will focus on three key parts of media and information literacy with regards to public infrastructure and developmental policies. So the first part will be about UNESCO as a global key stakeholder on media and information literacy, with a brief picture of the UNESCO Media Information Literacy Alliance and the advocacy work done by the International Steering Committee. The second part will be about the concept of UNESCO Media and Information Literacy cities and how they can ensure sustainable economic development and resilient societies. And the first part will be about information disorder and how we can equip citizens to build trust in public mechanisms and media platforms as 21st century informed citizens. So media and information literacy is an umbrella concept, we like to call it at UNESCO, that encompasses all media genres, contexts, and platforms. To define it, we could say that it is about the skills, developing skills to access, critically evaluate, and creatively express in the media and information providers field as prerequisites for personal expression and social action. And through these media information literacy skills, citizens are then equipped with problem-solving skills and active citizen skills in open government resilient societies. Here at the ECOME, which is the National Center of Audiovisual Media and Communication in Greece, we approach media and information literacy as basic skills, you know, how to access the media, how to find information in which platform, advanced skills that has to do with critical management of the information we find on media, online or offline, and vocational skills has to do with training media professionals. These are the 5 media and information literacy bylaws that it's been developed by Unesco. And the first bylaw refers to all the media information literacy stakeholders that they should be available in the society. And the second bylaw, the second law has to do with that every citizen today is a creator of information, of knowledge, of messages. So it is a right, that an inclusive right for everyone. Everyone should be media information literacy, media information literate. Law number 3 has to do that the citizens should know that the messages, the information they receive on media platforms or the internet service providers are not always neutral. There are, you know, mechanisms behind that construct the media. And this is very important when you're working on a specific project or you want to have a general information of society. Law number 4 refers to that the right of expression. Everybody should be able and have the right to express his own point of views. That's why he has to be well informed beforehand. And law number 5 address that media and information literacy is a lifelong learning approach. It never stops. It starts from school, but it continues throughout in a lifelong learning context. So what is the relationship between media and information literacy and public infrastructure that you are discussing today? There are crossing paths between the public infrastructure works, media and information literacy, and societal development. So ports are driven by nation as growth engines, driving the industrial development of a country, and media and information literacy drives information society development in a parallel way. Ports are vital links of a societal unit and give way to citizen transportation, whereas media and information literacy gives way to quality and trustful and truthful information. This is where they both meet then as communicating vessels. And I read in your brochure that dry ports are defined as inland terminals that can be interconnected with a seaport via road or rail transportation facilities. So in the same way, media and information literacy can act as an internal driveway or waterway that leads to trustful democratic societies through well-informed citizens and in all platforms of media. The main question here is, how do you modernize this procedure of construction of media reality today so that all citizens can navigate safely and creatively nowadays? So in our topic today, is how can we deal with media and information literacy skills in order to raise awareness and formulate public opinion when undertaking any major developmental project? What are the infrastructures needed in order to ensure safe access and use of the new projects, the new constructions, and how the digital era can help citizens towards a most effective use of all the facilities. It is a fact that the development of technological solutions by companies and states is limited by the boundaries of their will and imagination. And sometimes, furthermore, policies and resources are sometimes preferentially directed towards, concrete development efforts. So the reasons are complex and multivariant, and to bridge these gaps, achieving universal connectivity is an imperative, but not a sufficient step. We also need media and information literacy skills if we want some projects, to move forward and to work in a successful way. So on a global level, you mentioned UNESCO, and I would like to say that is a global stakeholder and pioneer in the field for over 30, 40 years now. And UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Alliance, where I have the honor to serve as Co-Secretary General of the International Steering Committee. It is an alliance with leading experts in the field of media, communication, information, towards putting media and information literacy very high in the policy agenda, also in the social agenda among citizens, if we want to talk about inclusive MIL cities. So the aims and the scopes of UNESCO Media and Information Literacy Alliance are, these 9 key areas in the field of media and communication. You can see it is about governance, citizenship, and freedom of expression. It is about access to information and knowledge for all citizens. It is about development of media libraries, internet, and other information providers. About education, teaching and learning, not only in school, but also professional development. It is inclusive, it addresses all. It is a set of skills that should be present among women, children, social minorities, people with disabilities, all kinds of social groups. It has a relevance with the business, industry, employment, and sustainable economic development that we're talking today. And the International Steering Committee is the advisory board of UNESCO MIL Alliance that makes sure that all strategic aims and scopes are met within the UNESCO community. This is the booklet that you can find more about the International Steering Committee, the members of the Global International Steering Committee. And the UNESCO MIL Alliance has members that are over 600 members from all over the world. So globally, it is present globally. And the challenges that we face with the alliance is that it is difficult to establish a common framework, a common global framework on media and information literacy policies due to countries, regions, different cultural contexts, particularities. And the ultimate challenge is how to map projects, initiatives, good practices, and exemplary MIL actors globally, and evaluate them towards public policies and strategies. This year, we are very happy because we are celebrating 10 years. We have a 10 years anniversary since UNESCO MIL Alliance was formed in Nigeria in 2012. The main features, the main actions of UNESCO MIL Alliance, it organizes an annual conference on media and information literacy every October. It's the feature conference of the annual Global Media and Information Literacy Week. It has and conducts awareness raising campaigns for all citizens, how to develop media information literacy skills. It issues publications, it organizes webinars. We also have the Global MIL Awards that we evaluate and give some awards to the best practices globally. And it has rich material and resources, open educational resources through MilClicks. MilClicks is a youth social media platform. You can find it on Facebook, MilClicks, and you can get more informed on all the specific target groups and objects of media information literacy. So I would like to move on with a question, the what if. Now, what if policymakers join their forces, enabling a powerful and influential MIL policy on their respective countries and territories? What if the media and digital industry supported systematically the creative voice of young people towards the development of trust and towards the development of media works that would enhance intercultural identity and diversity in an all-inclusive relationship with the media? And what if the citizens and students knew how to determine the purpose of media messages, evaluate their mechanism behind, and choose their own age-appropriate content? Then we would be living in real MIL cities. Do these MIL cities exist? Well, yes and no. It depends to where your eye rolls on the global map. This is the theme that was inspired by Unesco's 2018 conference on media and information literacy cities, voices, powers, and voice changers and change makers, sorry. And it was talking that there is an apparent need for a future-proof infrastructure for media information literacy in the cities. So MIL cities are part of UNESCO Creative Cities network. They are based on this multidisciplinary approach. So they have some indicators that deal with digital infrastructure, knowledge components, a total access to the media. And there are cities where they have empowered digital citizens, and they are an extension in some way of the smart cities. If you have heard, you know, the cities that are fully and digital enabled. So there is a specific also project of UNESCO developed with Felipe Chibas Ortiz, also in UNESCO Mil Alliance, that it is specifically addressed to how to apply MIL Cities project in your own cities. So they have created 13 indicators for urban environments. And the indicator number 2 talks about national transportation infrastructure, roads, buildings, means of transport and mobility. The metrics that this indicator has is that a city should have a planned communication system and implementation strategy on how to use urban space creatively for the various transportation vehicles today. Also, public transportation should be linked to the digital infrastructure of the city and artificial intelligence tools, like, you know, you need to have available apps on informing citizens about public transportation and timelines and open data operation and stuff like that. This is a picture I made for the conference of UNESCO in Lithuania in 2018 that has the main actors that are all involved in media and information literacy cities. So media information citizens are also very important if we want to talk about fully functional public infrastructure systems. They are part of United Nations Sustainable Development Goals by 2030. And especially they're more relevant to the Sustainable Development Goal number 9. It is about industry, innovation, and infrastructure. And goal number 11, about sustainable cities and communities, for our topic today. So part 3, we're moving to the content of media and information literacy and how it is changed, how it is developing today with the abundance of digital media platforms. So the main challenge today has to do with what we like to call as information disorder. It's about myths. It's about truths, realities, myths, and how and the myth busters. How we can break these myths, you know, and bring truth on surface. So before we are at this point that we can evaluate about media information literacy on a public infrastructure project, we need to see the relevance, and we need to see these challenges that deal with the information disorder, because this is a chain gain effect. If you know what's true and what's fake, if you can tell the difference between disinformation or disinformation, then you will be able to work in a more reliable way with the public, with the citizens. They can approve your public projects, and it can lead towards democratic society development. So, according to the Council of Europe, there are 3 types of information disorder, and all these 3 types engage the public discourse on fake news. So it's misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation. And it is important to distinguish messages that are true from those that are false, messages that are created, produced, or distributed by agents who intend to do harm from those who are not so well informed. So disinformation is information that is false and deliberately created to harm a person, social group, organization, or a country. It is not new, of course, but today is a pathogenic phenomenon that reaches directly or indirectly all media users, especially through social media platforms. As an Italian writer has said, Rolf Dobelli, everyone today has his own volcano of opinions, that it is erupted depending on the news agenda each time, mainly through social media platforms, and especially during the pandemic, and all the concurrent infodemia that followed it. So this information erodes trust in institutions and in digital and traditional media, and harms democracies by hampering the ability of citizens to take informed decisions. The spread of disinformation may also affect policymaking processes by skewing public opinion. And domestic and foreign actors can use this information to manipulate policy for societal debates and behavior in areas such as climate change, migration, public security, public infrastructure, health, and finance. And it is interesting that back in 2014, the World Economic Forum identified the rapid spread of misinformation online, well, it said misinformation and disinformation at the same time, but it said that it is one of the top trends in modern societies today. Not trends, I would say problematics. So misinformation is information that is false, but not created with the intention of causing harm. And malinformation, well, it is information that is based on reality, but it's constructed, used to inflict harm on a person, organization, of a country. So these are 5 information checklist on what can everyone do today. These are 5 simple steps with pieces of information that you should check every time you come across some news or information basically online. The first step is to rate the source, to explore the website or the social media account it comes from, to think about what might be behind the distribution of this news information you're reading and what was the purpose of the story made. Step number 2, to read past the headline. Don't stop to the headlines because sometimes they can be scandalous in order to attract clicks and promote sharing. So if you go deeper into the story, it may turn out that the claims in the headlines are not that true or they are exaggerated. Number 3, check out the author. Does this named author really exist? Is the author a related person? You can do a small, survey research online about him. Number 4, do the sources confirm the stories? Often there are no links in the fake news that can be used to verify the facts. If there are references to the story, to the sources in the story, click through them, check them. It may become apparent that the original message has been embellished or distorted or altered in some way. And number 5, check the date. Sometimes news engines, they republish old news in order to attract interest, in order to attract their audience, but this does not mean that they are always relevant. And very important, once you have done these 5 checklists, you have always to bear in mind to think before you share. Don't go easily sharing something you read online on a public, on a social media platform like Facebook without thinking these 5 points beforehand. So now there is a bridge between media information literacy has moved from the old traditional media to the new digital media in the post-pandemic world. And I would like to finish with a popular article of yours, Arundhati Roy, on the pandemic is a portal that was featured in Financial Times in March 2020 and has kept me thinking ever since I read it. In reference to the pandemic, the writer said that even though it may seem as a portal to dystopia in the beginning, the pandemic, on a deeper level of reflection, the pandemic can be a gateway between one world, this world, the old world, and the next one, the new one, a better one, as a turning point in history through a transformative shift in thinking and action. So this realization can be perfectly explained through the societal prism of media and information literacy, where it can act as a bridge between the old and the new world that Arundhati Roy describes, emphasizing on the importance of establishing equitable learning environments for all, teaching, practicing, and monitoring media information literacy skills in the classroom, among the families, and within lifelong learning settings and communities, so that we can all achieve critical, analytical, social, emotional, and communication skills for all. That would be all for me. I'm open to any questions you may have, and I think that now I'm eager to hear from our next speaker, Robert.
Sudhakar sir. Okay. Brahmared sir. Chairman sir. Not there. You want to put any questions? No? Good afternoon, good morning, good afternoon. So, Mr. Robert, I gave you a lot of, Sunday morning trouble.
Hello, good morning to everyone.
Yeah, while welcoming you, I would like to read the briefest bio or the CV you have given to the audience for their, information. So, Robert Tomaljanovic, sorry if I have pronounced it wrongly, is the Vice President of the Electronic Media Council and Deputy Director of the Agency for Electronic Media, an independent regulatory authority for the electronic media in Croatia. Among other things, he is responsible for projects related to the media literacy. Example, web portal, media, JSK, AP, APIS, Manost HR, and to the protection of minors in electronic media before joining the Agency for Electronic Media in 2013. He spent his entire professional career into the electronic media and the audiovisual industry, working as a journalist, news editor, and television producer. His professional experience includes posts as correspondent with BBC World Service and the first head of the news at RTL Television, Croatia. Robert is the author of the study Regulatory Authorities for Electronic Media and Media Literacy, published by the Council of Europe. Thank you. Let me also thank Madam Ernie. If you are there, another half an hour, we'll put combined questions. So let Mr. Robert complete his presentation. Thank you. We'll wait.
Thank you very much. Thank you for inviting me to the conference. I'm honored to be part of this audience. And for the beginning, I would like to describe the world we live in. What does this world look like? We live in a hyper-technologized, global, converged media world where digital technology is an integral part of our everyday life. And we rely on it to communicate with others, as well educate, entertain, and inform ourselves nearly continuously through the day. We are saturated and overwhelmed with information and unfortunately with disinformation. An opinion by the French philosopher Jean Baudrillard that we now exist in a universe with an increasing amount of information and less sense is now gaining in importance. The new media and communication technologies have completely transformed the world, changed social and communication relations, and considerably affected human behavior and identity, as well as the development of entire society. Changes happen at an unexpected pace, imposing continued adjustment cycles on both the citizens and the society. Some theoreticians believe the digitalization of entire society is comparable to the impact that the steam engine had on the society and the humans at the start of the age we now call the first industrial revolution. However, as with all the revolutionary innovation that make the world a better place, even the digitalization and the development of media and communication platforms come with certain unwanted consequences. Changes in the media ecosystem have perhaps been even more significant than predicted. New technologies have blurred the line between the authors and users, between the traditional media and social media, as well as alternative websites, and brought a wealth of new information and disinformation and possibilities for their dissemination. We have trouble with finding accurate information and reliable news sources, with social media algorithms putting us in these echo chambers or filter bubbles, thus inciting ideological segregation. Digital revolution had implied enlightenment and democratization of the society. However, the lack of responsibility in the internet space has actually enabled the dissemination of confusion and disinformation. Moreover, the absence of information checking and filtering mechanism such as gatekeeping, which present in traditional media, has been beneficial to mass spreading of fake news and disinformation in digital space. The issue of disinformation first came to global notice back in 2016 during the Brexit campaign in the UK and the US presidential election campaign. At that time, the fake news related to the presidential election in the United States were shared nearly 38 million times, and 30 million of them were in the favor of Donald Trump, who later won the election race. And we have a problem with terminology, because we can ask ourselves, is fake news even a news? Of course not. There are many of them terms such as fake or false information, information disorder, disinformation, disinformation pollution, etc., etc. In the Council of the Europe study, author states that the term fake news is inadequate and unclear to describe the complex phenomenon of information pollution. Furthermore, the terms has also begun to be appropriated by politicians to describe either disagreeable with news or with news organization whose actions they disapprove. The authors of this Council of Europe study therefore suggest using the term information disorder, identifying 3 different types. And Ms. Irene explain in detail what is misinformation, disinformation, and what is malinformation. And this illustration shows how misinformation, disinformation, and malinformation intervene and overlap around fabrications and intent to cause harm. Even certain forms of hate speech and harassment are included, as they are often used to harm someone over the actions of affiliations. The European Commission has set the following definition of disinformation: verifiably false or misleading information created, presented, and disseminated for economic gain or to intentionally deceive the public. Here the key words: deliberately and intentionally. So there must be an intention. European Commission also avoid using the term fake news, as they believe it is inappropriate for understanding the complex issue of disinformation, which includes content that is not fully fake, but has been fabricated and mixed in with facts with the intent of dissemination and harm to others. In 2018, the European Commission published a report titled Tackling Online Disinformation, a European Approach. The report states that online platforms, in particular social media, video sharing platforms, and search engines, play a key role in the spread and amplification of online disinformation, and that they have so far failed to efficiently tackle the challenge posed by online disinformation and manipulation. The European Commission has also warned that the issue of disinformation should be viewed in wider context, interrelated with economic, technological, political, and ideological causes, highlighting the fact that economic insecurity, increasing extremism, and cultural shifts generate an anxiety and provide a breeding ground for disinformation campaigns which foster societal tension, polarization, and distrust. Furthermore, the report states that the dissemination of disinformation takes place in the context of major changes in the media, which are undergoing a dramatic transformation and still looking for new business models, and in the context of a technological revolution, social networking, algorithms, and click-based advertising. Considering the complexity of the issue and the rapid development in the digital environment, a single solution could not address all the disinformation-related challenges, which is why we should act on several fronts simultaneously. Media literacy, the development of critical and digital competencies, including content production and privacy protection issue, in particular for young people, is crucial to strengthening the resilience of society to disinformation. It is clear that with the reinforcement of the transparency in the online world and the improvement of professional journalistic standards and media quality, media literacy has become one of the key tools in fighting disinformation. Reinforcing media literacy is also important for the informed citizen concept, which is based on people's motives and abilities to use the media and participate in public discussions and the democratic life, which has been distributed somehow in the new hybrid media environment. Therefore, media literacy, particularly the skills of understanding news production and their critical consideration, should serve as a societal glue of sort that reinforces the ideal of an informed citizenship and contributes to the strengthening of the journalistic professionalism. Media literacy has thus integrated the traditional literacy, reading, writing, and understanding, and skills that have come with the new media and technological platforms. That is to say, it has integrated the humanity communication development from the traditional alphabetical writing to electronic media and digital information. A brief basic definition of media literacy is the ability of citizens to access, analyze, and produce information for specific outcomes. Sorry. Globally speaking, there is currently no consensus on a unique media literacy definition. What matters is the discussion continues and that these definitions are continually adapted to people's need and the local context, level of social, democratic, cultural, and media development. This definition has been used by European Commission since 2007. The ability to access the media, to understand and to critically evaluate different aspects of the media and media contents, and to create communications in a variety of contexts. High-level experts group, 2016, refreshed definition, little bit expanded definition, an umbrella expression that include all the cognitive, social, civic, and creative capacities that allowed a citizen to access, have a critical understanding of the media, and interact with it. These capacities allow the citizens to participate in the economic, social, and cultural aspects of society, as well as to play an active role in the democratic process. Why is media literacy is important for democracy? Because the necessary precondition for every democratic process are well-informed citizens who make informed decisions based on media information. Informed citizenship relying on their motivation and capacity to be critical consumer of the media and take an active role in the public debates that concern them. Neither media literacy nor work on encouraging and strengthening media literacy and media education should be considered isolated or separated from the social, media, and technological process and developments. Media literacy is a quite complex, multi-contextual, dynamic, multidimensional, and fluid concept that needs to be adaptable to social needs and should be viewed in situational and local context and as a specific cognitive skills of an individual. Very often, public authorities want instant results without substantial or no investment at all. Media literacy should be a strategical, comprehensive, systematic, and well-developed project. To achieve this, you need a cooperation on all levels. You have to create a platform for gathering of stakeholders, developing a long-term project. Cooperation presents a key issue for raising awareness and promoting media literacy. It is therefore necessary that cooperation should be initiated and developed on multi-levels. Continued development of media and communication platforms and their integration in everyday life call for a stronger inclusion of media literacy in the national educational policy, Especially significant is their greater integration into schools, development of critical thinking and understanding of the media, their structure and influence. It is enough to take a look at the world we live in, which is full of technology, unregulated media and communication platforms, disinformation, hate speech, and issues with algorithms and privacy, to realize how important it is to provide media education to all generations. That's about all. Thank you for any attention. I'm here for questions. You have to unmute yourself.
Yeah. Chairman sir.
Sir.
Mr. Robert is here. Madam Irni has given her presentation. So would you like to say?
Welcome both of you, Robert Tomli Jonovic from Croatia and Mrs. Irni Andripol. Nice meeting, looking here on our virtual meeting. And we are really proud to have a person like you in this meeting, and a wonderful lecture and presentation and the EV of this All India seminar. We look forward in future to have collaboration with you. And thank you very much, sir. Thank you for Mr. Robert and Mrs. Serena. Thank you very much.
Captain Indravar, any, would you like Captain Solanki, Captain Solanki?
Yes.
Sir, please.
Anything you like
yes,
to add?
I got one question.
Yeah.
First of all, thank you very much to both of you, Madam Irene.
You can show
as well
your
as
video
Robert.
also. Please switch on your video.
First of all, thanks very much to both of you for excellent presentation and letting us know. Actually, I am also now first time hearing this, that there is a media information literacy at world level, a campaign, and it's an excellent thing, especially in these times of digital media, different digital media platforms. Now, my question is, how do we basically fix the responsibility to the propagators of misinformation and disinformation? So is there any international level cooperation or work going on in this direction? That means if somebody is doing this, national level it is there, but unless and until, because digital media is international, it is global, it is not limited to a country where we say, okay, I am residing in a particular country. But what about the information which is coming across at global level? So is there any thought, or you can say processes, or in terms of cooperation, something moving in that direction as well? Please.
Let me start. Okay, from an international level, as I mentioned already, Unesco is doing a great work on awareness raising. So it is organizing this global key stakeholder awareness raising campaigns for all the citizens in order to be able to tell from truth to fake news or disinformation strategies. So this is a public step for all citizens. There are also some fact-checking networks that are available for journalists, for media professionals. In a more simplistic way, they are available for citizens, where they can go and check by themselves whether what they read was true or not. To my knowledge, there is not a global international checking network. there are some efforts into creating an EU network fact-checking, but this is quite complicated. And the other thing that also maybe Robert can tell more is to have a regulation that will, act as a protectionist umbrella. So whenever something is false on the news or is used, with a bad intention as malinformation, then you should have a present the regulation that will combat this pathogenic phenomenon. So you should have some penalties whenever you are the initiator, the producer of this fake news fact. Is that
thank you very much, ma'am. Thank you. My another, I think the question, you can say it is a subsequent question to that is there any penalty or policing? That means if you have any policing that if somebody is doing that, then his network is banned or something like that. Anything of that also is there, or nothing of that sort as of now?
This is a question, I think, for the regulatory authorities, Robert. No? If
Yeah,
potential.
One is the prevention is the key, to be honest, because this global phenomenon, the hyper technologies, the converged media world, you can prevent ourselves and strengthening any citizens only with media literacy, with media education. Regulation, yes, of course, but there's still on European Union on national level. Now, European Commission, European Union prepared for the first time, the act. Act is act for digital world to be for regulation on EU level. After 25 of mass spread of internet, European Union starts 25 or 30 years after to prepare this type of document, which help to regulate all types of internet-based providers on a not global but on EU level. And this document, act of digitalization, will help us to regulate not only European platforms, but also the global platforms which targeted the European Union and European Union countries.
Thank you very much, sir. Thank you. I think it's a very informative, and I agree with you that prevention is the best way forward. Thank you. Thanks a lot. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Ernie, madam. Thank you, Mr. Robert. Thank you for accepting immediately and coming. In future also, we'll be associating for the next seminars of different type, maybe not internal waters, but maybe other projects. Sir, Brahma Reddy, sir. Chairman, sir. Chairman, sir. అక్కడ ఎంగేజ్ చేస్తుంది ఆయన.
I would like to thank you once more for the invitation, but apologies, I have to leave now. You are muted.
Very much. Thank you very much. So
thank you very much for the invitation.
Good luck and see you in the near future. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Robert. Mrs. Ernie, thank you. అయిపోయింది కదా సరేదని కానీ ఏముంది ఇప్పుడు లాస్ట్ లో వచ్చాడు ఆయన ఈయన చెప్పేసాక hello friends, Solanki sir, there has to be a panel discussion at 4 o'clock.
Okay.
We are hardly 2-3 minutes away, but
Okay. It was 3 o'clock. 3 o'clock.
Sorry, 3 o'clock. I'm sorry. There is, I find one madam says she is not getting connection. She had a problem previously also, I understand. Then ISN Garu, I told him, Prasad, they didn't come. Sunday evening, I said, come back. Phone ఎత్తరండి పక్కన కావాలి అడుగు మ్యూట్ చేశాను కదా 2-3 persons will be joining in next 3 minutes, sir. Then we will start our panel discussion. I have asked them to join. Maybe in 2-3 minutes they will join. Captain Solanki sir.
Yes, sir. Okay, that's fine, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Arul Chalvan Sriram. Thank you for joining.
Good evening, sir.
Good afternoon. Thank you. We just have a lovely discussion about media information literacy about a few minutes back from European Commission representative Robert and MIL Secretary Madam Erni. And now we have to start the panel. Sir, Solanki sir. Solanki sir, pros and cons of building inland waterways on canal systems.
We have on the panel.
Can
you tell me?
Professor Arul Chalvan Sriram is here. Professor ISN is joining, and other Dr. ISN also, ISN Rajgaru also is joining, 2 people. And I don't think Anubhuti Yadav, she says no connection. VV Prasad, he went out, and Dr. Sista is not responding. Maybe he's not responding. I do not know.
Okay.
So it is Sunday afternoon, you know.
Yes, it is difficult. I can understand. No problems.
Yeah.
So basically,
so we'll start.
Now, inland water transport. When we talk of water transport, over 90% of the international trade actually happens through shipping or happens through the water, whereby if we compare the international transport with the domestic transport, that is national transport, in India, it is about 6% of the national transport happens through inland waterways. Though we are planning to increase it in by, you can say, another 5 years in double digit. Whereas in developed world, the numbers are 20% plus. If we talk of Netherlands, it's about 40% plus, or Bangladesh also in the similar number, and Germany is 20% plus. So the inland waterways is happening world across, and from the beginning of this century, especially the European Union and the banks, when we talk of World Bank or ADB Bank, these financial institutions have taken on extra initiative to promote this sector, that is inland water transportation sector, because it is considered as most sustainable transportation sector. When we talk of sustainability in terms of inland water transportation, we talk of mainly three aspects. That is economical. Second is what are the societal benefits, and third is the environment. So if you look at inland water transport, in all the three, you can say for all the three parameters, it holds good. It is economical, more efficient, more fuel efficient as compared to road and rail in terms of per ton kilometer cost, or in terms of per ton fuel consumption cost. In terms of societal benefit, the benefits are, you can say, one is it generates more employment as compared to road and rail, because if you talk of the ecosystem, it has got ecosystem starting from ship construction, shipbuilding is one ecosystem, ship operation is another ecosystem itself, and then also the waterway management system also. The third aspect when we look at is in terms of environment. In terms of environment, it is environment friendly first directly itself. If you look at fuel consumption per ton kilometer is less, so therefore it is more economical. Since it is more economical, so it is you can say, since it burns less fuel, hence it will be less polluting, and it has got less number of accidents.
Dr. ISN Rajgaru, welcome to the discussion.
Thank you. Actually, I was very much there in the webinar, but as an attendee, now I made a panelist, I could able to see me.
Yes, sir. The title he will change. Who is there in the picture is Dr. ISN Rajgaru, an expert in irrigation. He has built a lot of dams, designed and constructed. He was the chief engineer in combined AP. So Dr. ISN Raju has a very good expertise on water, hydraulics, and related all structures. So Captain Indravar Solanki is an expert in inland water transport. He has rendered his services. I think in one word, I can say that he rendered his services to World Bank, and he rendered his services to the Government of India also to formulate the policies for the inland water transport. So he is an expert during last 5 years only in inland water transport and creating the required laws and background for that. And Professor Arul Chalvan Sriram is from Anna University. He is a media information literacy expert from Anna University. He is a doctorate in MIL. So he will tell us how better we can make a policy and convince the people. So now let us start, and maybe 1 or 2 more people will come and join. So please continue, Captain Indravar Solanki, sir.
Raj sir, the pair merchant, ISN Rajgardi, Madam Pair of Irina and Tripol. No, if possible, you can click it and change, I think.
Yeah.
Actually, I was very much there from morning 9:30, but as attendee it is showing because now
that was not appearing, sir. It's only 30 plus only will appear here. So that name you can click and then you can write your name, sir.
Name change చేస్తాం సార్. We are changing. So continue, Captain Solanki sir.
Okay. So what I was basically, I'll just repeat, come back to the last one in terms of sustainability. When we talk of sustainability, we are talking economical benefits, then societal benefits and environmental benefits. Economical benefits, we are aware that because water transport is the most cheapest mode of transport as compared to road and rail for you can say given OD pair with same distance. In terms of societal benefits, there are benefits in terms of more number of employment per ton kilometer movement, as well as the other benefits in terms of the ecosystem where we have shipyards. There the employment is there. Then for ship operation there is employment. For waterway development, waterway maintenance, there is employment. So, and the indirect employment is there. Other society benefits to the societies in terms of number of accidents are comparatively less. Plus the land use, rehabilitation, or you can say land use is minimum because we are using the natural path of the river, which is anyway, you can say not much population on that. And in terms of environment, the benefits are in less pollution benefits. That is, you can say, because the fuel consumption is comparatively much less. Therefore, that is one. Second is the size of the engine is large. Because of the large size of engine, you can say the energy consumed is comparatively compared to and the smaller engines, it will give more mileage. So because of that, the consumption is less. In terms of another benefit which is there is with related to waterway. There are two benefits. One is when we look at our rivers, if we do not desilt the rivers or we do not remove the sedimentation from the river bed, so what happens is eventually the river bed rises and there is overflow. The river overflows its banks during the flood. So in a way, you can say that also is a benefit, indirect benefit of water transport. And to the marine life or to the aquatic life, the advantage is in terms of you can say reduced BOD because of you can say aeration or churning of water by the propeller, as well as due to the wash of the vessel movement and waves, etc. So these are the, you can say, known benefits which are there. Now I would put a question to the panelist, to the panel here, in terms of you can say the elements of the inland water transportation. There are three elements per se. One is the waterway, second is the terminals, third is the vessels, and in fact the fourth also you can say is passengers. So these are the four elements of the inland water transportation system. So in these four elements, I would like the point of view of the panel with regards to economical benefits, society benefits, and the environment benefits, as well as what are the disadvantages of these elements when we look at them on, you can say, as a separate entity. how would that come on in terms of what are the pros and cons in, you can say, along these lines? Professor Arulachal Sriram, sir.
Yes.
From sir. Sir, how much time can I take? Can I use?
You take 10-15 minutes or even less.
Okay. Thank you. Very good afternoon to everyone. I thank Dr. Mr. Surya Narayana inviting me for this wonderful seminar conference. Inland Waterways is one of the major transport in many countries, especially European countries and even East Asia also. But in India, it's a very limited. But according to whenever for regarding this, I went through some papers and I also heard Captain Indra's input. There are much inland waterways are already available in India. There are many scope also there. And as a common man, many people, they are not knowing the inland waterways. We can use it for transport for passengers as well as goods services. But in India, only the seashore areas are coastal areas only they are using it. Not much of the inland waterways like rivers or canals, they are not usable for the public transport and goods transport. It is a myth, actually, it's a myth. We have to educate. We have to create some awareness to the public regarding this. I want to give some inputs on this. Okay. Inland waterways include rivers, canals, lakes, and they are used for transporting passengers and goods. They are called inland water transport. They help in the transport for good grains, food grains, minerals, fruits, and many other things. In India, the length of inland waterways is nearly 14,500 kilometers. It's maybe I am getting from some websites, maybe whether it's correct or not, you can correct with me. Many rivers, inland rivers like Godavari, Krishna, Maganiri, we can get lot of backwaters and the ways are already there. We can use it effectively for the transportation. The Indian Waterways Authority of India is a statutory authority in charge of the waterways in India. But the public, they know the transport department, transport ministry. They don't know about general people. I am speaking general public. They don't know about waterways authority. How much waterways are available? Like that, they are not knowing about the truth. Let's take this opportunity to discuss some myths already existing in the among the public. Which using waterways is an outdated form of transport. This is one of the myths. But what is the reality? While waterways predate highways as transporting routes, waterways regarding widely used for transport even after the creation of state highway system. We are using it for many other commercial transports for our business and other things. Number two, moving goods by inland waterways is much slower than the highways. Reality, it is true, but the we are using is very easy. We can put more things. The budget is also, cost is very less compared to regular transport. Myth number three, the inland waterways can only be used for organic and natural non-harmful materials. Reality, The barges frequently carry petroleum and petroleum products, fertilizers, chemicals, foods, and other non-organic materials also. Myth number 4, inland waterways are strictly for movement of goods within the country. Not actually. The inland waterways, if it is connected with other countries, we can also use it. But inland waterways are already available more length. We can use it properly. The 5th one, barge transport cannot be part of intermodal transport. Barge to rail and barge to truck or vice versa are the common form of inland intermodal transport used by several industries across the country. So we can use it without any hesitation. These are the myths are already available, but the general public as well as industry people, they are not knowing the truth. There are many other considerations at play when using barge and regular regular transport. We have to create some awareness among the public. You know, inland waterways have been accorded a central role in maritime development in India. The National Waterways Act 2016 has declared 111 rivers or river stretches, creeks are can use for national waterways. So many scopes are already there. The authority already developed many inland waterways. The main thing is to create the awareness among the public through media, because media is one of the vital tools to carry the message to the public. The industry people, they don't know how we can use the waterways for the transport, regular transport, and goods transport. The can discuss with the media people and give input about the how much length of inland waterways are already available, what are the benefits, what are the negatives and the benefits, advantages and disadvantages, in what are the pockets it's very good, what type of materials we can transport. Okay, this kind of if information or news we can provide, give the input to the media, they can pass it to the general public. So the people can get awareness, get aware about the waterways. So we will use it for our national economy as well as the environmental. It is a very good environmental route. It won't affect our Indian environment. It is very useful to us. So you can think as a waterways authority people, you can think media already portraying the inland waterways transport. Okay, how they are giving the information or news about this inland waterways. You can discuss a lot about things, or you can do some research. You can do some research on how the media already portraying. You can do each and every media covering this kind of news in the list. In the regular news or not, okay? How they are portraying, are they presenting it's negative or neutral or positive, okay? The researchers can do. After that, we can use them. Like we can, what are the myths already? I already listed a few myths already. Like that, many myths in each and every sector they are affected with this kind of myths, okay? So we can avoid these myths through educating the people and educating the industry industrialists to use more about the more use of the inland waterways. So the media and information literacy is very important for many sectors, including the Waterways Authority can create awareness among the people and industrialists. So in this place, I request the authorities to create some awareness programs or doing some research on also for Anna University. We ready to help and do conduct some researches in this area. Thank you. It will help the improve the news coverage and create the awareness among the public. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Professor Arul Chalaram. Any questions, please? Okay, I fully agree with you that there is a lack of awareness in the country regarding the use of inland water transportation. Not only the people, it is also the industries. The shippers do not know that there is a waterway link between particular origin and destination where they can actually use of. The other thing which is there is, I think, once the routes, whatever routes are there, if they are established and there is a regular service between them, then the waterway can be, you can say, effectively and efficiently used. Thank you very much for breaking the myths, whatever myths with regards to, you can say, waterway. You have very elaborately, you can say, cleared them. Thank you. I would request now
Dr. I.S.N. Raju garu will
sir,
Okay.
would like to talk on
Good
the
evening, sir.
subject. Good evening, sir.
Actually, I got a lot of passion because I was one of the superintendent engineer involved in reviving the inland waterway from Kakinada to Puducherry. So about two decades back, actually. So this inland waterway, actually, I would like to brief you about the development of this one. Now everybody is talking about inland waterways, but the great personality Sir Arthur Cotton himself developed this inland waterway way back in 1.5 century back in 1960s and 50s from Kakinada. At that time they called Kokonada. Now it is called Kakinada to Puducherry, utilizing the canal systems of Godavari Delta and Krishna Delta. They were there. Actually, in my childhood also, I used to travel through country roads in the canal because at that time the road connectivity is less. So subsequently, so now people are accustomed because road connectivity is improved very much, and also the transport, also surface transport also improved. The public started enjoying this road transport rather than this one else. Now, basically, now present inland water transport, the government want to revive. Actually, in 2014, when the present government came into power, they have given the first priority and they announced that they want to revive this Kakinada Puducherry inland waterway by improving the canal system, partly the river system and partly canal system. In a big bang approach, they started it in 2014-15, but subsequently now it has slowed down. I think people are just only some establishment is there, things are not moving. I think some local issues are also, the problems are there. So as our panel chair Solanki Saab and also Arul Saab told that this is one of the best transport of environmental friendly. Everybody is talking about environment, so it will have the best environmental friendly. But actually, when we try to revive this Kakinada Puducherry inland waterway, the problems actually we encountered is the canal system. I think that for limited capacity of cargo and also the public transport, the canals were designed. Now, for the present, because of the capital investment, which is heavy, unless some return is there by cargo transport of heavy vehicles, we have to widen these canals. But the canals are passing the urban areas like Neluru and other towns, Vijayawada, all towns are there. So what exactly the issue is that rather than the worst cost, the R&R cost or whatever the land cost or acquisition cost has become almost double. So that is one of the constraints for that one. Still, what I suggest is, so let us improve. It can be improved in a phased manner with the available canal system that is available. You can start these inland waterways. And the beauty of this one is actually now I'm very happy that the national seminar of this development of minor ports for internal transport, managing regional waterways and canal system, that actually fits into the scenario in AP and also the Chennai. Actually, the system is very much there. We have to revive it because so these canal system, integrating the canal system, the connectivity will be there. The minor ports. I think now actually even Bandar, everybody knows that Bandar is actually the other name. Bandar means it's a actually it is a port. Bandar is a port. British people have designated. Even Bandar was connected by Inland Waterway, of course, through canal system from Vijayawada. So it is a best thing that Inland Waterway need to be revived. And another important thing is government wants to link the interlinking of rivers. So interlinking of rivers can be integrated in the Inland Waterway. That is also economical and viable, and also will have some return to it one. So one more thing is now people started using these surface transport, road transport in a big way. So earlier they used to use this Inland Waterway public transport. So we have to attract, just like what we say, that we have to attract the public to use this inland water for transport by creating some facility. Or initially you can start as a tourism project also, we can do that. Or once people got attracted, we can connect it this one. But at in the present juncture, mostly government is planning to have a cargo transport. For example, in Krishna River, lot of cement industries are there in Jagaipeta. So they already called tenders for this project of that Jagaipeta to Vijayawada by improving the river system. River system means already width is not an issue, only draft is very important, that the depth of water is very important. They want to do that one. So actually it is a need. I think everybody is discussing about sustainable development goals. Actually inland waterway transport is one of fit into the achieving sustainable development goals, which are interlinked. We cannot, that goals are independent for everybody. So improvement of one goal will give benefit to the other goals also. That is also important. The environmental friendly thing is important thing. So another thing is there is so in a big way we may take just like interlinking of rivers in intralinking. I think something is possible. Intralinking also can be done. So it can start that one. Then we go for interlinking. Now I think every day we are looking into the news that now government is very much determined, and day in and day out they are negotiating with the states to have a link of Godavari to Kaveri. So when they are making this Godavari Kaveri interlinking, that can be a multifaceted. So it can be inland waterway also need to be thought of. I think some brainstorming session, and this must be brought to the notice of the sanctioning authorities of either national level and state level also. It is very important. And actually now the concept, many people, the present engineers do not know that lock systems are there. Lock means that is nothing but a what you call a flyovers in roads, when two roads are crossing or changing the gradient from one grade to other gradient. If you go to Eluru, you can see a beautiful lock in the outskirts of Eluru. That lock is meant because that is integration point of both Krishna canal system from Vijayawada and the Godavari canal system from Dhauleshwaram. So that lock is nothing but making facility of inland water transport, because the water levels are different. The lock will facilitate of joining the boats coming from Godavari, which is at a lower level, the higher level of this Krishna. So that lock systems are there. So these are very much there. Actually, we are discussing a lot about inland transport, but you must be hats up to that Sir Arthur Cotton. Of course, he built the Godavari Anaket and also the canal system, but he planned this Krishna Delta and Krishna Anaket also. But Captain Orr has built that one. So this is very, I think it will be very useful. We can take up national wide. We can have divide into this inland water transport into different projects and start make a beginning. But with the best beginning will be reviving the inland water transport system that is very much existing there by keeping it in national priority. But some I do not know, in the 2014 when the government came, so in a big way it was started. They announced the budget and also grant, but subsequently, so that project has not is in the limelight. And only except some establishments are there. So we need to put some pressure. And 2-3 issues are there. I think now, the capital investment for public transport, I think that it is a added value, but we cannot say that the return will be there on public transport. But we must plan for the conveyance of this cargo, especially these systems of that is much existing in Krishna and Godavari, especially for sand transport. So sand mining can be done in dry season, but there is a lot of demand for sand. We know that sand is becoming brown gold now. I think the most sought after this one. So even during these rainy seasons also, they are using the inland transport by using of country boats by transporting the sand. So the mining will be in some islands in between the river. So system is very much there, and it is very much the need of the hour. Only thing of people, the state and the center must keep an eye on that one, and it's a environmental friendly. And also one more thing is, so indirect benefits will be much more. I think we are spending billions of dollars for these oils, this petrol and diesel. So when we go for the inland transport, we can reduce that imports of oils, and in other way the country economy will get benefited. So a brainstorming, I think this is a beginning. So whatever national seminar today we have conducted is a very beginning under our chairmanship of our Brahma Reddy Garu and also our President Thackeray Saab, and also an excellent organizing secretary Satyanarayana Garu has taken, Suryanarayan Garu has taken lead. So I think the brainstorming must continue with taking that is a beginning, and we need to focus at the national level, international level also. We can make this as an international seminar also. So I think ports, I think they're all integrated. I think transshipment of port that is happening there because of this facility available, much revival is not required. But this utilizing this regional waterways and canal systems, that will give a fillip, and also it enhance the system, and also simultaneously the economy of the states will be improved, and also the national economy will be improved. I think another way what I told, that we can reduce the import of these petro products also. So when we are doing that, and another important thing is economy that is environmental friendly. I think there's a climate change is also intervention for the climate change. These are some of the things I would like to tell. Any issues? I think basically I am a irrigation engineer and civil engineer. So because some fashion, and I also involved in this revival of inland water transport. I attended this ministry also for revival of this project about 2 decades back. So I think the much progress has not taken place, but let us in Institute of Engineers and also the Institute of Marine Engineers also, that they will take a lead to take this to the notice by brainstorming to the public and also the states and also this one. So the big project may not be taken up initially because of investment. So we can have some structures like this. First we can have this Kakinada to Vijayawada to Bandar, and Bandar to Chennai, and like that we can have it. But another important thing is it need to be linked with the linking of rivers. So that will go in a big way. Another one small difficulty of this maintaining inland waterway is normally in rainy season, from June to December we'll have sufficient water both in the river and also canals. So when during January to May, normally there will be a diminution of flows in this one. So when we go in for inland water transport, always a fixed quantity of water need to be reserved in the river systems and also canal system, and maintain that water level for the transport of these transport facilities. So these are some of the things I would like to say. Thank you very much for giving me an opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. May I ask you a couple of things, being
Yes.
with your background from irrigation department?
Yes.
This basically two questions that come to mind. One is what are the advantages if we develop a waterway system that the erosion of agricultural land on the sides of the river, would you think it will benefit the you can say it will benefit the society, whereby we will have less erosion once the waterway is developed, because you will have a deeper channel through which the water can, or you can say the capacity of the river will the capacity of the river increase with the development of the waterway? That means
yes, sir. The regular siltation problem, because we have to maintain the waterway, we have to desilt that river or canal. So to the requirement of draft, that is one thing. And then when we develop a inland water, automatically side protections will do some side protections will be there. So definitely, so we can sustain the rivers and canal system also. That is added to the economy that is friendly this one else. So that can be done. There is no issue. But one more thing, the beautiful thing is normally, so the difference we are feeling is when inland water transport is there, the maintenance of canal system, river system was quite easy, because the movement of these mechanized things. So there was not much weed growth, or any weed growth was not there. Now it has become a terrific problem for us to remove this weed growth. Not once, it is 3 times, 4 times as the great exchequer to the operational maintenance. So inland waterway will transport to irrigation great way, and maintaining the rivers and also canal system. So this one else. And also what you told is desiltation regularly to be done, automatically quantum of that storage capacity also we can sustain. So
Yes.
now that's we can sustain because we have to maintain certain levels. So that will storage capacity will also come to the rescue of this drinking water supply in time when especially during summer season also. The requirement will be small, but that will be under resource facility available there. So we are exactly correct. It will improve it.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah,
Do we have any other member from the panel, sir?
most
Suryanarayan,
welcome.
sir. Thank you, sir. Thank you
I'm
very
not
much,
from
sir.
panel, but I would like to ask one small doubt or the question to Raju sir. Sir, you have told very nicely and very pragmatic presentation of discussion. I really appreciate for the excellent
Thank you. Thank you.
description of it. But as you said, Godavari and Kaveri interlinking of all this land. See, recently in the last year, 2021, Indian government has come with a India Ports Bill, something like that. So whether that bill has got anything linked with this inland development of inland waterway, that is first one question. And unless you don't interlink all the rivers from the north to south, I don't think the canal depth can be, as you said, the canal has to be widened. If canal is widened also, there must be sufficient water. Then only the transportation can be done. So that's my doubt, sir. I would like to.
Okay, so very exact. I think is very, very beautiful question. One thing is only we'll improve the canal system to maintain the draft, that is the depth of water. So there will be no consumption. Actually, there will be no consumption of water. Only we have to maintain that water level. So for which we don't require much water, that can be done because in the irrigation season also we are maintaining the canal of depth. The only thing when the irrigation crop season ends, so we will maintain the water levels of from one end to other end because we got a regulatory system and also the locks are there. So that is not an issue. We can maintain it. And another thing is two parallel projects are there in Jal Nigam. I think previously it is Water Resource Department, Government of India. So one is interlinking of rivers, that is National Water Development Authority, and they also one project is there on hand at national level about the inland water transport of the country. That is there. Actually, these two plans are there. So government need to give a push. And water is not a problem. Water is actually flowing water will be quantity will be more, but for the transport only you want to stand water because of mechanized water it will have its own velocity and it will travel by its own, not by flow. So only now unmechanized water only will travel with the flow of the water. So that is the difference. So, okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
Right.
Sir, can I ask?
Yeah, most welcome, sir.
Sir, I'll ask Ila Satyanarayan garu. Sir, Ila Satyanarayan garu, Professor garu, మీరు అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకోండి సార్. మీరు అన్మ్యూట్ చేసుకోవాలి. Ila Satyanarayan garu has worked in Hindustan Shipyard Limited, and one of the risky thing, of course, they worked for ONGC for installation of Ravva platforms, jackets, pipeline, and all. I worked from SR under a shipyard for laying of a pipeline of around 45 kilometers. But the critical item, what they did is, one of the girders of the Raulapalam bridge has fallen down. So the same Seshadri who has erected the Buddha Vigraha when it has fallen down in the Hussain Sagar, the same person he was in a Hindustan shipyard at that time. He went along with the one of the two boats and put the two cranes and lifted the girder, which was precast and pre-stressed. So that was their experience in working in the marine waters. They have built a lot of ships and other things. But unfortunately, he could not get it unmuted. It's okay. So
before concluding, I want to end with one thing. In Porvaram project also, there is a provision for inland water transport. There is a tunnel was made so that from Bhadrachalam to this, whatever you say that Dhauleswaram, so you can have a transport facility of the bigger vehicles also. One tunnel was also provided for this transport. So in future also they are making it built up. Thank you very much. So nice of you.
Sir, he is also put initial as Professor ISN. So he was raising a hand.
There is a little problem was there, sir.
No problem. But yes, I think he raised a hand in between. You can once again ask him to unmute the thing.
Please unmute. Professor ISN Garu, please unmute.
Actually,
Mhm.
okay.
Okay.
He's speaking, but he's
okay.
not unmuted.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Is there time for me to give a brief presentation? I have a small presentation which I can share since
Yeah.
For 5 minutes is there, sir.
just 5 minutes. Okay.
You
much time
can
you
take
need?
maximum trajectory. How much time you need, sir?
Oh, I'll need about 15 minutes. Anyway, I'll just see if I can.
No, start it. It's no problem. If you have to, it's okay.
No, the chief guest is already
okay, we'll see.
has joined for the valedictory. So anyway, I think he will also would love to, because he is also very expert in river this thing. So
Management.
I think 10 minutes, if you try to complete 10, 12 minutes, it will be nice.
Okay, sir. Let me just share my screen. Okay. Can we see my screen?
Yeah, it is visible, sir, properly visible. You can go
Okay.
ahead.
So basically, different elements of inland waterway transport, that's what I will cover. I will not go into the complete thing. So let me okay. Basically, if we look at the development of the water transport, we have dredging, then correction of the river. Basically, there are bands which are there in the river. We need to put the aids to navigation so that the path of the for the vessels to maintain is there. Bundling is a method by which we can increase the depth in the river by a natural process, by putting basically bamboos on the you can say blocking one channel, because most of the navigation happens in the plains, floodplains, where we need to actually regulate the water. So for regulation, we use bandals of bamboos, and bank protection and bund is required to protect the erosion, excessive erosion, and then the river information system. So that is what is required to be done. Then for terminal development, we need borehole study, jetty construction, terminal equipment is to be procured, piling, etc. is required, terminal approach is required, terminal management. So this is basically what I'm going through, is what is the process of inland water transportation development. Then we come to vessel. With regards to vessel, we have vessel design for different basically requirement of the waterway, because waterway has got limitation of width, depth, as well as the radius of curvature, as well as air draft. Then power and control of vessel, vessel procurement. Then type of vessel will be different, vessel financing, vessel operation and management. These are the different opportunities actually that created when we develop our inland water transportation system. Then with regards to cargo, we have different types of cargo that can move. Like you have bad cargo, you have bulk cargo, you have container cargo. In fact, we also moved cars all the way from Varanasi to Kolkata. We moved containers from Varanasi to Kolkata. So these are different. We have moved fertilizer, we moved food grains. So all different types of cargo can move, and one barge, you can say, replaces about 100 trucks. So that is what is the size of decongestion of the road. So that is another advantage which is there. Then we are talking of the other structure which is required is one is of course cargo, then training. You have to have training institutes or the universities. Basically, as Professor Sriram was saying, that there is need of people to be aware, there is need for universities to be linked, research to be developed, to be done. So all that will basically get activated and regenerated. You cannot say that we did not have waterway system, as Professor Rao had said that we had such system, but because of more focus on road and rail, the waterway system got, you can say, did not get any attention, and that's why it is in a neglected stage. And it has now started to pick up. I think for US it took 100 years to develop their waterway system. For us it will take some time. At least we have to take, it will give, we'll need about 10 to 15 years for it to come to a stage where it will be self-sustainable. The enablers are there. As I said, the requirement is waterways, terminals, vessels, and manpower. Then I will not go into too much of details there. This is the processes. Just I'm running through. I want to come to. Now, this is where we've developed an integrated, we are talking of integration of rivers. So what we have done is actually, this is Varanasi, movement from Varanasi to Kolkata. This is total 1600 kilometers of waterway. And the cargo has moved from Varanasi to Kolkata on a different type of vessel. Different size of vessels have moved from, you can say Kolkata to Farakka, about 2000 ton size vessel can move. From Kolkata to Patna, 1000 ton vessel, and from Patna to Varanasi, 500 ton vessel can move presently. That can carry 500 tons of cargo. So that, now this is actually linked to the Indo-Bangladesh protocol route that links us to the northeast. Just a minute. The requirement of depths, which we are saying that what we need is a navigable 2.2 meter to 3 meter LADs minimum that is required. So we need to have a depth of 2.2 meter. Unless until we have that much depth, then we cannot use it for water transportation system. So these are the different depths which is made available now. Earlier it was not there. So you can see 3 meter depth being made available to Farakka and to Patna, and then 2.2 till Varanasi. That is the eastern dedicated freight corridor. It runs parallel to that up to here. And from Varanasi, then we can move to Calcutta. Different types of cargo we could move. This is the basically status of the project at that time. 5,300 crores was spent on basically the total development of the waterway. Actually, I wanted to correct that also, that when we take the cost of development of the waterway per ton kilometer, it is 1/10 as compared to road, the development of the waterway, because it is the cost of land is not there in case of when we are developing the waterway. These are different movements that have happened. This is the jetty which has been developed. This is the vessel, the loading of containers, then the movement of containers. So roughly presently what we are moving is 100 million tons of cargo is being moved across pan India. This is 6.9 million metric tons on National Waterway 1 only. That is Ganga. The cargo quantity that is being moved only on Ganga is presently about 7 million tons. It will, in this year, it will be 10 million tons. This was in 1819. These are different type of cargo growths which is there. Then upstream, downstream cargo is also available. Then these are the projections for just one waterway. The increase that is possible from once the waterway is developed, there is a increase of per year increase of roughly about 8% increase on a year-on-year basis for the cargo movement. National Waterway 2, that is linking to, you can say this is the northeast movement from Dhubri to Sadia is the waterway, 800 plus kilometer, 891 kilometer long waterway. Then again, different movements that have happened of carrying cargo, trucks, etc. And similarly, we have National Waterway 3, National Waterway 4, and we have total today 111 waterways, out of which about 25 waterways are actually, you can say, feasible for movement of cargo. This is cargo being moved in Kochi, Kottayam, different cargoes that is being moved. And what we need is basically, if we do we have to develop a waterway. What is required is, if we do a brief study along the river, that what type of cargo is available, what shippers are available, what type of OD pair is there, then it is possible to develop a particular waterway. Thank you. I just ran through so that to show that there is cargo potential in our waterway development has happened, and the growth of the sector is there for us to take advantage of and to work on the waterway development system. I need to stop sharing now.
Please unmute, Mr. Suryanarayan.
Thank you, sir. Captain Solanki sir. We will start our valedictory function because the chief guest has already come.
Sir, thank you, sir.
Chairman, sir. We'll start.
Thank you, sir. Good evening to everyone.
Sir.
Please proceed, sir.
Thank you. What about our Anjaney Prasad garu?
Anjaney Prasad garu, I am getting connected, sir. He will give his report. That is what he said. Online, he will give report. Sir, sir, మీరు connect Chairman, sir. He is connecting. He is online only. We can start.
Okay. Thank you. Respected today's chief guest, Sri V. Prakash Rao garu, Chairman, Telangana Water Resource Development Corporation, Government of Telangana, and Chairman, Indian Peninsular River Basin, and today's guest of honor, Commander Dr. Bhaskar Bhandarkar, FIE, Chairman, Marine Division Board, Institution of Engineers, India, Engineer Narasimha Sumant Bhayankar, Chairman, Institute of Marine Engineers, India, Untitled Chapter, Dr. G. Venkat Subbaya, FIE, Honorary Secretary, IEI, Telangana State Center. S. Surya Narayan Garu, FIE, Convener of the event and committee member, IEI, Telangana State Center. Professor M. Anjaneya Prasad, Head of the Department of Civil Engineering, University College of Engineering, Usmania University, Hyderabad. Past presidents, past vice presidents, council members of Institution of Engineers India, also Telangana State Center, past chairman, past honorary secretaries, committee members of Telangana State Center, and corporate members of Telangana State Center, budding engineers, ladies and gentlemen. Once again, good evening to all of you. Today, I feel it is a great honor and privilege to be amidst this August gathering and extend a warm and a hearty welcome to this valedictory of two-day All India seminar on development of minor ports for internal transport, management, regional waterways and canal systems. The world and India too is changing. Sorry for the disturbance, mobile was probably. The world and India too is changing at a much faster pace thanks to the innovations happening in every field all over. And our scientists, engineers have changed the face of technology, enabled economy, especially in the recent years. The Institution of Engineers India is playing an important national developmental role in defining excellence and setting up benchmarks for the advancement of engineering in every field. It gives me an immense pleasure to place on record that the Institution of Engineers India is organizing this two-day All India seminar. For years, the Union government was content with controlling the major ports across the country. Now the time has come, it allowed the states to notify and control the minor ports, despite the subject being part of the concurrent list that allows the center to have a say. The situation could change now with the Union government having moved ahead with the Indian Ports Bill 2021 to have a complete control over all the sea, including authority to decide who can operate and manage. This development has rattled states, especially most of the ports, though the move will help increase the export-import cargo. I am hopeful that the century-old organization of the Institution of Engineers will has provided a right platform to these marine industries, engineering fraternity, academia, and professionals to interact and share their expertise for the past 2 days. The deliberations achieved by the institution covering this two-day event is really remarkable. So the Telangana State Center has been playing a very important role in dissemination of information on engineering and contemporary technology, bringing industry, academia, experts, and professionals together on the same floor. During the two-day All India seminar on development of minor ports for internal transport, managing regional waterways and canal system, we conducted 4 technical sessions. In that, 12 papers were present. Also conducted panel discussion with eminent personalities. On behalf of the Telangana State Center of the Institution of Engineers India, Marine Engineering Division Board of Institution of Engineers India, and on my own behalf, I once again extend a hearty welcome to Sri V. Prakash Rao Garu, today's chief guest, Chairman Telangana Water Resource Development Corporation, also Chairman Indian Peninsular River Basin, and guest of honor, Dr. Bhaskar Bandarkar, FIE Chairman, Marine Engineering Board, and all of you who are present on this virtual meeting. Thank you, one and all. It's my turn to invite Professor M. Anjaneya Prasad Garu to present his recommendations for the what were there for the last 2 days. Sir, I switch over and I invite Professor M. Anjaneya Prasad sir to kindly proceed.
Yes, sir. Good evening. Am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, please go ahead.
Yeah,
Hello.
thank you. Thank you.
You're audible.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, please go.
Am I audible to you?
Yeah, now a little bit noisy.
Okay, okay. Thank you, sir. Thank you. I think I'll try to make justification for the excellent papers that have been received. I just read out briefly the various aspects of the papers that are received. One is Engineer Sudhakar and Dr. Shekhar from Indian Maritime University, wherein they have presented on impact of GST and e-way bill for the road transportation of containers and hinterland connectivity. So wherein they are given the various issues that are required for stakeholders based on the perceptions, and it's reported in the paper that 3 years after GST, they 5 points using 5-point Likert scale with 24 questions from 31 respondents. The Likert scale actually is a very popular scale used for the giving the value and how the impact will be there on any study. So wherein the respondents are questioned based on route optimization and asset utilization, reduction of disputes and claims, etc. Based on the question. Based on, am I audible, sir?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
According to the study, we have used Likert scale for fairly large scale of the samples. I think this paper is really good technically, in the sense only the limitation which I have noticed is the respondents were less. So therefore, this study can be further done based on that, and they found based on the study within trucks and based on rail and road transportation for cargo, and on an average 42% of people are agreeing strongly for the methodology that has been proposed by Government of India. So the next paper is on state waterways inland for Telangana state by Captain Ambot, who is very rich experience in the projects of marine structures, etc. He is highlighted on historical navigation. By the author, the dams where the water is not completely there. So inland water navigation in India is meager when compared to Western and European countries. And he has suggested that broadly certain rectification required for inland navigation. Problems that are taking the river system and sand mining, etc. How do then he has also come out with vessel parameters that are required for the in a matrix form, and various maintenance required for waterways in terms of inland navigation. In fact, except in North India, only river Ganga, inland navigation is not there at all, particularly in South India. I think this paper will give scope for really the player to relook into that, policy makers as well as players, to come out with a broad policy on inland navigation, which is going to reduce the burden on the transportation of the goods, which will play a vital role in the economy of the country. Then the other paper on coastal corridors and the water highways by Suryanarayan Garu, based on his rich experience on maritime work, he has given conducted his experience. He was used in Visakhapatnam, ONGC and SR projects project and also NTPC projects, where he has come out with what should be this basic problem that is plaguing the major coastal corridors in terms of land, water, and roads. And government should give provision for actually the players to take encouragement and allot the land and also other resources so that the activity of coastal corridors will enhance the development activity in India. Then the development of inland transportation also has been reported by Aditya, Sri Aditya, wherein he has mentioned about development of ports on various aspects of development of inland waterways based on the experience from the projects which he has executed. Then development of ports by another paper of RKEC projects, which is a company having a 1,000 crores turnover, wherein he has highlighted on various challenges and how to utilization of the resources effective for the development of ports. Then the maritime vision of the government of India recently formulated, when they mentioned about 3 lakh crores is expected to be pumped into the sector in 2030, wherein he has highlighted some of the challenges faced by this project, which require primarily 60,000 crores per annum of investments. And this is going to give a vital facility for attracting captive ports where investments can be really encouraged for creation of warehouses, cargo movements and all can be really controlled, and it is going to have good relaxation for, and also he suggested that there should be relaxation for pre-qualifying and also encourage FDI investments, and also fund-rich public sectors also should pump some of the resources into this sector as a joint investment in order to improve the investment levels of, because primarily this kind of development requires huge investments which are not possible primarily by pure private sector and also by government of India. Therefore, this hybrid model is going to really play a vital role in enhancing the investments. That's what was suggested in the paper. Then there was another paper on legal regime of the pollution by Dr. Yomala from School of Maritime Management, Kochi, wherein she highlighted various earth and environment overview of the entire pollution aspect of the marine environment, and she also highlighted the need for protection and preservation of ecology in general, and with special reference to the marine environment. So ecology in general, at a global level, there are typical standards available for various levels of development, and the global standards are completely different, and Indian standards have to be followed. And wherein marine environment ecology, as far as India is concerned, is relatively low when compared to the international standard. So wherein she highlighted about the meaning and definition of marine pollution, various marine pollutants have been highlighted, and various sources and types of pollutants, international conventions that have been followed for the marine pollution, and the United Nations resolutions that have been passed, which are supposed to be followed by every country, has been highlighted, major issues in that, and various regional instruments in terms of regulations, particularly with special reference to the law and the legal aspect, has been highlighted, and various UNEP-sponsored groups, how the instruments, that means the laws have been governed, and how they're following the protocols has been highlighted, and yeah, sir. So similarly, there were some proposed coastal and shipping of East Coast and solution by the authors, wherein they have given choice of coastal vessels, terminal ranking, and explained in the paper various figures highlighting all this, and also quantified these values. Then there was another keynote paper on bird's eye view of port planning and execution by Shri Nadarajan, where he highlighted various engineering marvels of in the sea, Panama, Suez Canal, like Euro Channel, etc. So many, wherein how these projects have I think there was some difficulty with downloading papers. Thank you very much. Thank you for giving opportunity.
Over, sir. Ane Prasad garu.
Yeah, sir. I'll conclude
Okay.
because my papers which I have are not related there now.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for excellent presentation of the recommendation. Though, of course, intermittently there was a internet disruption, I think. Overall, it's very nice, sir. Thank you very much. Now, may I request Engineer Surya Narayan Garu to introduce the today's guest of honor, our Commander Dr. Bhaskar Bandarkar, sir, Chairman, Marine Division Board of Institution of Engineers.
Yes, sir. Class తీసుంది కదా సౌండ్ క్లాస్ తీసుంది కదా సౌండ్ వస్తుంది ఇక్కడ వర్క్ చేసినా ఇది అట్లే
Industrial Engineering Commander Dr. B.M. Bhandarkar, sir. He has studied BSc, BTech, MTech, MBA, PhD from Birla Institute of Technology. Then he is MIARP, COS, Diesel and Steam Gold Medalist, NCDC, Government of India, Ministry of Human Affairs. Professional experience is operation, refits, quality, manufacturing, safety, and training 40 years. Indian Register of Shipping, IRS, Technical Committee 6 years. Consultant to NITE, Government of India, MHRD, National Chairman, Indian Institute of Industrial Engineering 8 years. Managing Editor, Journal 11 years. Publication 8 books 02, Proceedings 27, Technical Papers 57. A Fellow of Institution of Engineers India, Fellow of Industrial Engineering and Operations Management Society International USA, Fellow of Institution of Marine Engineers India, Fellow of Indian Institute of Industrial Engineering India. Served in the following positions at IE. Marine Engineering Division Board IE member since 2020, Andhra State Committee, Hyderabad member 4 years, Andhra State Committee, Hyderabad Joint Secretary 2 years, Vizag Local Center Committee member 2 years, Vizag Local Center Convener, Technical Committee 2 years, Maharashtra State Committee Mumbai member 4 years, Belapur Local Center Committee 2 years. International assignments. Board member Asia Pacific IE Management Society APIEMS Japan. Principal investigator Indo-US Science and Technology Forum IUSSTF 2019. Invited talk Asia University Taichung. Honorary Conference Chair of IEOM USA. Associate Editor, International Journal of Production and Research, IJPR Taylor and Francis. Honors and awards. Lillian Gilbert Award, Topmost Indian IE Award, Prime Minister Trophy continuous 3 years, Ramaswamy Award, Coal India Productivity Award, Shiksha Bharati Award, Distinguished Engineering Awards, Distinguished IEIE Award, Service Award, International Achievers Award, Commendation by Flag Officer Commanding in Chief FONC twice. International Felicitations and Awards 2012, Felicitation by Mr. Bandare, Government of Odisha, 2016 POMS USA at Orlando, 2017 IEOM USA Rabat, Morocco, 2018 APMS Program Committee South Korea, 2018 APIEMS Organizing Committee Hong Kong, 2018 Felicitation by Mr. Purraik, former President of Mauritius, 2019 Advisor Taiwan Government Ministry of Science and Technology IEM, 2020 IEOM Dubai Keynote, 2021 IEOM USA Best Educationalist Award. Awards in the honor of Commander B.M. Bhandarkar. Dr. Bhandarkar Award for Merit Student in IE Production Engineering by VJIT, Mumbai University and by Nagpur University. Commander Bhandarkar Leadership Award CEO for CEOs and CMDs for visionary leadership and institutional building. Contact email commanderbhandarkar@gmail.com, bhandarkarmarine@gmail.com. That's the, I'm honored to read the biodata of Commander Dr. B.M. Bhandarkar. Thank you very much, sir.
I invite Master Bhandarkar sir to address the.
Thank you, Surya Narayana Garu, for such a lengthy and elaborate introduction. Thank you. Respected Chief Guest of today's function, Honorable Sri Piramara Prakash Rao Garu, Chairman, Telangana Water Resources Development Corporation, and also Chairman of Indian Peninsular River Basin Council. In fact, we are benefited by your esteemed presence here, sir. My friend, Mr. Engineer B. Brahma Reddy Garu, the visionary leader and chairman of Telangana State Center. And we can see the results in many series of events he is organizing despite this pandemic and testing times. Engineer Nasya Sumant Bayanka, Chairman, Institute of Marine Engineer, Hyderabad chapter. My friend, philosopher and guide, S. Surya Narayana ji, the convener of this wonderful seminar, whose indebatable will made it this possible against all odds. Dr. G. Venkata Subbaya, Honorary Secretary of TSC, Professor Anjaneya Prasad Ji, my friend in National Council of Institution of Engineers, Sri I.S.N. Raju Garu, Captain Solanki Ji, Member Marine Board Engineer K. Bindu Mohan Garu, and my friend A.V. Prasad Raju, Vice Chairman of Indian Institute of Industrial Engineering, distinguished members of Institution of Engineers and Institute of Marine Engineers, distinguished guests, participants, friends from media, ladies and gentlemen. Last 2 days, we have witnessed a wonderful deliberation on development of minor ports for internal transport, managing regional waterways and canal system. Many distinguished presenters gave us a deep insight into the imperatives of the internal water transport and canal system. This program was organized by the Telangana State Committee under the aegis of Marine Division and was nicely supported by Institute of Marine Engineers. Participation of many distinguished personalities from the academia, industries, and bureaucracy is the testimony to the success of this trend-setting seminar. The presence of international dignitaries made us aware the international aspects of this subject. The internal water transport advantages are many, from travel to tourism. Among the transport modes, it is the least capital intensive, most important requirement for our GDP. It's environment friendly, can supplement rail and road transport, helping decognition of roads and thus the pollution. It is best suited to carry four-dimensional cargo, ODC. It requires minimum land acquisition, so no trouble for the natives, poor, rural people, and also has infrastructure cost which is list. The Maritime Agenda 2020 identifies inland waterways as a means to enhance connectivity to ports, develop internal water transport infrastructure, and host of other issues. The involvement of private and public sector enterprises would be catalyzed for the growth. We have seen yesterday the wonderful involvement of RKAC from Visakhapatnam, who are doing us proud by their innovative techniques and cost-effective methods. The projects identified under Sagarmala program
Institute of Marine Engineers.
are expected to mobilize more than 5 lakh crores of infrastructure investment. I repeat, more than 5 lakh crores of infrastructure investment. Double the share of domestic waterways in the model mix, generate logistic cost saving, boost merchandise export, and create new jobs. The new job expected under this scheme are likely to be 20 lakhs. This also includes projects for development of minor ports. There is other aspects of this. When we are eyeing at the benefits of internal water transport, the associate system, we must always be aware of sustainability angle of internal water transport. Preservation of biodiversity, ethical local culture, pollution-free environment, and sustainable development of rural areas are the most important issues. I still remember the debate on Polavaram Canal and many other irrigation projects involving water bodies, which is to take place in our very own Telangana State Center at Khairatabad. The greed of profit maximization should not end into destruction of the environment. And thus, it should not be counterproductive. I once again thank the organizers for their untiring efforts in organizing this webinar. Telangana State Center has a glorious past. Telangana State Center is the forerunner of the technical activities, and it always sets the benchmark. I am proud to inform you, last year, maximum membership enrollment is done by the Telangana State Center under the able leadership of my friend, Dr. Brahma Reddy. I request you, all of you, to give him good hand. We shall be raising the bar further in organizing the various events. Marine Engineering Division Board is planning many such collaborative activities in association with Telangana State Center. In fact, we have already planned for the international event at Colombo involving Adani Port. However, the ongoing pandemic is creating some delays and a shift of planning for us. I thank organizers once again for giving me this opportunity to share my thoughts. Shano Varuna, may the Lord Varuna bless us all. Jai Hind. Thank you.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful address. My turn to introduce the chief guest of today, the respected chief guest, Veeramalla Prakash Rao Garu, is popularly known as Telangana Prakash, is a lawyer, writer, and the co-founder of Telangana Rashtriya Samiti, the famously known as TRS, a regional party in India. Prakash full name is Veeramalla Prakash Rao, born in Palampet of Mulugu, Warangal district. His father is Raja Narsingh Rao and his mother is Kausalya. The Nizam government appointed his father as a Asaldar Mali Patel. His grandfather and great-grandfather served as Mali Patels of Palampet village. He completed primary, upper primary, secondary education in Palampet, Nallagunta, Hanamkonda, and Murugu government schools. Later, Sri Prakash Rao Garu joined the ABB Junior College of Intermediate and CKM College for graduation, that is BSc. Both are aided colleges founded by late Chanda Kantaya in Warangal district. Sri Prakash Rao Garu qualified his MA in philosophy at the Osmania University, Hyderabad in 1981 and law at the Kakatiya University at Warangal. Sri Prakash Rao Garu participated 1969 to 1970 in the Telangana separate state movement when he was a student of 7th and 8th class. Sri Prakash Rao Garu has shown interest on radical students and revolutionary movements in post-emergency period. He met comrade Kondapalli Sitaramaya, who was famously known as a communist, K.G. Satyanarayana Murthy, founders of People's War in 1977-78, and argued on their tactics, strategies, and path of revolution to liberate India. The respected Prakash Rao Garu strongly criticized the annihilation lie. Later, Sri Prakash Rao Garu joined the Democratic Student Movement as a secretary of Democratic Students Organization, which was started by Tarimella Nagireddy, who was also a famous communist in India, and Devulapalli Venkateswara Rao. Sri Prakash Rao Garu moved to Warangal in January 1981 on the instructions of Build Peasants movement in this district. He mobilized poor and middle class farmers and agricultural labor in Malkapur area of Station Ganpur Assembly constituency on their challenges and fought against the government. He built student movements in and around Warangal district. Sri D.V. Rao asked him to come back to Hyderabad and gave him new responsibility, editing the Vadisela, Telugu Literacy and Cultural Monthly magazine. He also transcribed his experience of Telangana peasants' armed struggle in the year 1944 to 51. Sri Prakash Rao Garu spent almost a year and above on these two assignments. First part of the book was edited by D.V. Rao Garu himself and published, but second part in 1948 to 51 is at Tuka. After the demise of D.V. Rao Garu in July 1984, Sri Prakash Rao Garu quit the party and enrolled as an advocate and started practicing at Hyderabad in 1987. He moved to Mulugu Court, is in Warangal district. Sri Prakash Rao Garu received a good reputation as a lawyer in 5 to 6 months' time and focused on adult education in rural areas, including few tribal villages. After court hours, he found time to visit villages up to 10 p.m. He got partial financial assistance from Government of India to run night schools for adult illiterate people. In combined AP state, most of the judges and magistrates are recruited from the Andhra region. So Sri Prakash Rao Garu warned a corrupted magistrate and tried to correct him. As a result, Suyomoto registered contempt of court case against Sri Prakash Rao Garu in 1996 and he had to leave advocate practice. He met Professor Jaishankar, who is the father of the today's Telangana state, a former VC of Kakatiya University, to take active part in Telangana separate state movement. He worked as a general secretary and spokesperson for the TRS party. Sri Prakash Rao Garu is a policy advisor to the Honorable Chief Minister of Telangana and the chairman of the Telangana Water Resources Development Corporation and also chairman of Indian Peninsular River Basins Council. Sri Prakash Rao Garu played an active role in channelizing the Telangana statehood agitation since the formation of the TRS party. Sri Prakash Rao Garu is considered an expert in immigration sector and policy making. He was appointed as the chairman of Telangana Water Resource Development Corporation in March 2017 and still doing wonderful in the same organization. He also chairman of Indian Peninsular River Basin Council. Sir, it's a great privilege and honor bestowed on me to read such a personality and towering personality of Telangana state. Thank you, sir. I request our chief guest of today, Sri V. Prakash Rao Garu, to kindly address this gathering. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir. Thank you for lengthy introduction. You have covered every aspect of my life. Basically, I am a social worker and always work for the people. I am not an engineer also. Respected Chairman Dr. Bhaskar Bhandarkar and other important dignitaries, our Brahma Reddy Garu, Institution of Engineers, he represents since a few years. I know him. He is working very hard to raise the respect of the institution. And G. Venkat Subbaya Garu is also my friend from Hyderabad. He is the secretary of the Institutions of Engineers. And Suryanarayana Garu, Anjanaya Prasad Garu, and many other distinguished members of Marine Engineering and other FIE members of Institute of Engineers from other faculties. And as Brahma Reddy Garu said, so I never came into this subject earlier, sir. But I know few case studies. Very recently, I went to Goa, sir. So I visited Mondavi River and Juveri River. That is also an important river in Goa. It's a part of national waterways. There is one pig iron company of Vedanta Group. They are carrying a lot of coal powder openly they are carrying in the containers from Vasco da Gama port of Goa. So where I noticed whenever the ship moves in the Mandavi river, a lot of coal powder is spreading in the water. They are not taking any measures to take this powder in the closed container or in packaging manner. So, and these fishermen, they complained that lot of diesel and other oils spreading in the water whenever the ship moves. So the result is 90% of the fishermen lost their professions. The Goa, one of the biggest place for fishermen. Large number of fishermen are there. Inland waters, they are fishing in inland rivers. They lost their profession. 90% of the fishermen lost their profession. And fish breeding also came down drastically. Many species, they said almost 80 to 90 varieties of species, they lost their production and they disappeared from the fish species. So this is the one effect of pollution. So these governments and particularly the authority not bothering about the pollution and environmental safety. They have written so many things in the Inland Vessels Act recently adopted by Parliament. It was passed on in August month of 2021. There are so many provisions, but no one is bothering about to respect those provisions. So recently I met Prahlad Singh Patil is the Minister of Deputy Minister of Water Resources, Government of India. I complained him about the how Vedanta Pig Iron Company their negligent attitude towards these shipping the coal powder to their industry. It's only 40-45 kilometer stretch, but it has taken away almost 90% of the fishermen of the Goa. So heavy losses are there. So this is the one danger when we propose the inland waterways, particularly in the small rivers. Mandavi is not a very small river, it's a big river, but 45 kilometer stretch in length, it is very small. So there is an alternate four-way road, but they are not taking that roadway because a lot of expenditure will be there and some other issues are there. So these issues can be taken into consideration whenever we propose the riverway, how to use the riverways judiciously and particularly environmental point of view, biodiversity point of view, because this is the main food of the Indians, the fish, because seafood may not like particularly the local people. They always depends on freshwater fish. So due to the shipping and navigation, they are losing this profession as well as losing the tasty food of many species of fish community. So just I read in the Google, the government is going to discourage this inland waterway system and also inland dry ports also. So since a few years, they are taking some steps to encourage only seaports like Krishnapatnam or other ports, Bandar port. They are discouraging the dry ports. In Telangana and other states which are not having sea, they should depend only on dry ports. So already there are 330 dry ports in India. Out of these 330, many dry ports are not yet functioning. Maybe government is not encouraging them, and in coming days, definitely government will discourage this policy as per the reports of the Government of India. Just I read in the paper clippings and all. So the lot of discussion should take place. I am appreciating the Institution of Engineers for conducting this 2 days seminar, because every engineer should know what is going on in the country, how the government is supporting this navigation system in inland waterways particularly. There are many benefits also. I focused on only pollution angle, but equally benefits also there when we taken this navigation and inland waterways system. So sufficient information is available because there are some committees also, Rakesh Mohan committee, and earlier also, because this is the oldest way of transport in the country. Prior to 20th century, there were no roads and rails earlier. So in British period and French rulers ruled this country, they used the navigation only for shipping any material from one place to other place. In those days, there are no any barrages or dams in those days. The first dam in Telangana is Nizam Sagar project, and in the country also there are no dams 200, 300 years ago. So only small barrages are there, and there was a provision for taking the ships bypassing the barrages. So we can see this in Dumugudem in Telangana. So it's the oldest way of transport. Now we should protect it. I'm not against the inland waterways, but the government should encourage this. And also government should encourage dry ports, but they are discouraging this dry port system. Thanks for giving opportunity to learn few things about the national inland waterways and also the mode of transport system in India. Just first time I learned this subject today after Brahma Reddy Garu called me, and he has assigned this responsibility to be a chief guest for this valedictory function. And always I am with you, sir. Whenever you call, I will be there in any position, even as a participant also I can come. No need to call me as invite me as chief guest or guest of honor. Even to learn the things, I will sit in the physical meeting, or I will attend in the Zoom meeting also. Whenever the opportunity comes to me to learn new things, I'm definitely I will show interest, sir. Thank you for giving this opportunity, and I wish you all the best, sir. These type of discussions definitely will help to frame the policy and to guide the policy makers. This is more required, sir, because these IAS and bureaucrats, they don't know much about this subject, but they are framing the laws, and parliament members, they doesn't know anything about the marine engineering or waterways, but they are accepting the bills. So these engineers should take take part in the policy framing. Then only we can get good results, sir. With this, I am concluding. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you, sir, for your wonderful suggestion, and also suggesting engineers to take the place of IAS. This really is you can say compliment to all of our engineering fraternity, and I salute you, sir. Thank you for your speech, sir. Now we have made a souvenir, digital souvenir, sir, of course, which is not in color, to take a print and show you. And Secretary Garu and Suryan Garu, are you having a copy of it?
No, sir.
So this will be released by our chief guest, but of course on behalf of Prakash Rao, sir, I am just holding this copy because we could not send to his, but on screen it is appearing, sir. So on your behalf I am holding, sir. Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. So all messages are there. President message. Then this is from Bhaskar Bhandar, our chairman of. This is our Secretary Director General. This is my as a chairman, my message. Okay, move it, Mahesh. Move it next. Mahesh. The contents last page. So this is the contents in the last page. Further is not moving. So thank you, sir, for of course I will send a copy also, physical copy to you, sir, once the print few printouts take in color. This will be releasing in digital, sir. So this will come to all the emails registered with us. So thank you very much, and it's my privilege to request our Honorary Secretary, Dr. Venkata Subbai Garu, kindly to propose a vote of thanks for today's.
Thank you, sir. Respected today's chief guest, Sri V. Prakash Rao Garu, Chairman, Telangana Water Resources Development Corporation, and Chairman, Indian Peninsular River Basin. Guest of honor, Commander Dr. Bhaskar Bhandarkar, FIE, Chairman, Marine Division Board, IEI. Engineer B. Brahmareddy, FIE, Chairman, IEI, Telangana State Center. Engineer S. Suryanarayana, FIE, Convener of the event and Committee Member of IEI TSC. Professor M. Anjaneya Prasad, Head, Department of Civil Engineering, University College of Engineering, Usmania University, Hyderabad. Past Presidents, past Vice Presidents, Council Members of IEI, past Chairman, past Honorary Secretaries, Committee Members, Corporate Members of IEI Telangana State Center, budding engineers, ladies and gentlemen, good evening to all. It is such an honor for me to get the opportunity to thank you all the dignitaries. On behalf of the Telangana State Center of Institution of Engineers, India, Marine Engineering Division Board of IEI, and on my own behalf, I convey our sincere and profound thanks to Sri V. Prakash Rao Garu, Chairman, Telangana Water Resource Development Corporation, and Chairman, Indian Peninsular River Basin, for addressing the gathering as a chief guest in spite of his busy schedule. Sir, thank you very much, Prakash Rao. I would like to take the opportunity to record my heartfelt thanks to Commander Dr. Bhaskar Bhandarkar, FIE, Chairman, Marine Division Board, IEI, for addressing the gathering as guest of honor, and also for his continuous support for these 2 days in the webinar. Thank you, sir, Bhandarkar Garu. I extend my gratitude to Engineer Narasimha Sumant Bhayankar, Chairman, Institute of Marine Engineers India, Hyderabad Chapter, and Professor M. Anjaneya Prasad, Head Department of Civil Engineering, Usmania University, for their efforts in making this webinar a grand success. I extend special thanks to the panel discussion chairman, Captain Inderveer Solanki, Master Mariner, Honorable Chairman, Nautical Institute, Indian Branch, and speakers, Professor Arul Chelvan Sriram and ISN Rajgaru, Council Member of IEI. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the session chairman and co-chairman, namely Professor M. Anjaneya Prasad, Professor VVS Prasad, Captain Nilesh Kalyanpur, Engineer URP Sudhakar, Captain Inderveer Solanki, Dr. Ravi K. Sista, and Engineer S. Suryanarayana. I also extend my sincere thanks to the speakers of this webinar, namely Sri R. Jayachandran, CFO, RKEC Projects Limited, Visakhapatnam, Dr. Captain Ravi K. Sista, Master Mariner, Engineer S. Suryanarayana, FIE, Convener, Organizing Committee, and Committee Member of IEA TSC, Engineer URP Sudhakar, Research Scholar, School of Maritime Management, Indian Maritime University, Captain R.J. Bamboo Boat, Professor Jagtar Singh, former Head Department of Library and Information Science, and former Dean, Faculty of Education and Information, Punjab University, Aditya Tidke, IIT Roorkee, and Vedanti Tidke, YCCE Nagpur. Dawson Nayoni, Department of Transportation Engineering and Technology, NIT, Tanzania. Dr. VVS Prasad, Head of Marine Engineering Department, AU, Visakhapatnam, Andhra Pradesh. Captain Niresh Kalyanpur, Mrs. Irani Andripolov, Co-Secretary General of the ISC of Unesco, MIL Alliance, Head of Research, Studies and Education, ECOM, Greece. Robert Tomljenovic, Vice President of the Croatian Electronic Media Council, an independent regulatory body for the electronic media in the Republic of Croatia. I extend my heartfelt thanks to the and for his continuous support. I also thank the Institute of Marine Engineers Hyderabad chapter for being associated with us to conduct this webinar and making a grand success. Well, ladies and gentlemen, such an event cannot happen overnight. Wheels start rolling around a week ago. It requires planning and bird's eye for details. So we must thank our convener of the webinar, Saripalli Suryanarayan Garu, for his efforts to make this webinar a great success. Thank you, sir, Suryanarayan Garu. I also thank the dignitaries, past presidents of IEI, past chairman of IEI Telangana State Center, past honorary secretaries of IEI Telangana State Center, council members, committee members, corporate members, and others who made it convenient to attend this webinar. I also thank the representatives of media. So thanks to one and all. Thank you for all and madams who have attended this program. Now I request all of you.
Secretary, before your Janagan I would like to thank our secretary who thanked everybody. So I thank him. And I also thank the staff and right from our attendant to the manager level, they all worked whenever, even up to night, 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. So really, sir, is all our excellent effort for these 2 days. Also credit should be given to all the staff members, including the attender who has come with voluntarily come on Sunday without the morning. Yesterday he was telling me, sir, you have not called me, but I will come. I said, you're always welcome to work. So I on behalf of Telangana State Center, on my behalf, and on even my Guruji Chief Guest Prakash Rao Garu also, I thank them, all of you. And sir, kindly take a national anthem, sir. Mahesh.
Thank you, sir, for adding an important point, Chairman Garu. Now I request all of you stand for the national anthem.
जनगण मन अधिनायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता पंजाब सिंध गुजरात मराठा द्राविड उत्कल बंगा विंध्य हिमाचल यमुना गंगा उच्चल जलधि तरंगा तव शुभ नामे जागे तव शुभ आशीष मांगे गाहे तव जय गाथा जन गण मंगलदायक जय हे भारत भाग्य विधाता जय हे जय हे जय हे जय 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 हे
Thank you, sir, once again, all of you, and take leave for today. Secretary Garu.
Right, sir. Thank you, sir.